What do you think of my new hoodie? It was a good reminder for me to tell you about my adventure in Latin. When I was doing my master's thesis in Reformation history, I had a professor who was always telling us to chase after the footnotes, chase after the footnotes. That's where all the good stuff is. And so I always follow my teacher's advice, like you should. And I found a problem. A lot of the footnotes in my reading and research were in Latin and German and Greek. I've taken a little bit of Greek, and so I know how to look up words in Greek, but Latin and German? So I sent an email to my professor. My email said, what should I do when the footnotes are in Latin and in German? The email I got back shocked me. He said that if I'm going to be a student of theology, that I should have a basic understanding of Latin, Greek, and German. That put me in a problem. Although I'm not afraid to learn languages, and I know that I can do hard things, but I knew that if I was going to continue in my research and be the best theologian that I could, maybe tackling these languages would give me a good advantage when doing research. For years, I've been asking people, do you know Latin? Do you know German? Can you help me read this Latin passage? So many times I'd post on Facebook, can someone tell me what this says? Google Translate doesn't work. And so finally, after years of talking about how I want to learn Latin, I decided to do a 30-day challenge. Let me tell you how it went. I love a good 30-day challenge. Matt Diavilla and other YouTubers who do 30-day challenges, it's so interesting to see what they learn from trying something new for 30 days. A 30-day challenge that I've done several times is doing a whole 30 eating challenge where you do an elimination diet and only eat healthy foods. And I love that experience. So I knew that I could try and experiment with this and just see what would happen if I dedicated myself to a 30-day challenge. The first step in my 30-day Latin challenge was to make a plan. And so I knew that I wanted to create a checklist of each day of how I would be learning Latin. I also needed to get organized on Notion. I used Notion to keep track of my daily progress. I would listen to Latin, I would read Latin, I would quiz myself on Latin, and I would take notes in Latin. Part of my plan was to find some teachers. I think that teachers are the best way for learning. Being a teacher, I think that's important. So I found two different teachers that I listened to and followed their advice. The first was Derek Cooper. Derek Cooper wrote this Basics of Latin book, and it also has a video series on Zondervan, and it was extremely helpful and dense for what I was learning. What works really good with this plan was that it is a theological kind of look at Latin, which is what my passion is. And so this was really a good tool. The second plan that I followed was with Ranieri. He's a YouTuber who really recommends this Lingua Latina book, and I used this to practice reading aloud and language acquisition. The entire book is in Latin, but each chapter you can learn more and more of the words, and so you're using the Latin as you're learning it. These two strategies I would practice every single day for my 30-day challenge. Another part of my plan was to kind of give me a carrot to go through with this 30 days. And so I ordered myself a box of stationery that would open after the 30th day as a reward for the hard work. There was 3 things I did that I think made the experiment really useful. My first tip is that I tried to make it very easy. What that means is I did a lot of habit stacking. I have a morning routine habit, and so it was very easy to just take that morning time and devoted that to my Latin time. And so that was an easy part of stacking that habit so that I had that time already in my schedule to do Latin. I didn't have to find something new. Another habit that I added is that I walk to and from school each day. So instead of listening to the regular podcast that I would listen to, I would listen on my walk to school to people reading the Bible in Latin, or listen to YouTube videos of people talking about Latin. And so by listening to the Bible, something I'm very familiar with, and then hearing similar words and hearing it as I'm walking, I was able to do 2 things at once. And I think that helped it go very smoothly. Another tip I have is to make your challenge public. When I did my Latin, I let my students know, I let my friends know. When I would do some of my practice of my reading, I would do it on Instagram Live so that people could talk to me. And doing that actually helped me be connected with other people who knew Latin. In fact, because of that, one of my friends on Instagram shared with me a copy of Harry Potter that is written in Latin. So I was able to kind of have that as a side resource. So making it public and kind of sharing that with others helps with accountability, kind of made it a little bit more fun. I'm gonna try reading this out loud. My first day. Roma in Italia est, Italia in Europa est, Grecia in Europa est. Something that happened in the challenge was I had a special trip to St. Louis for my sister's wedding. So I decided, instead of just stopping my challenge, that I would make it special. I went to the St. Louis seminary and kind of pretended to be a researcher at the seminary. I dropped off some library books and found a place that was quiet and some beautiful garden sounds. And I worked on my Latin in a special environment just to kind of make it feel a little more interesting and fun. One of the best things about learning Latin for me is so that I can understand more about the church fathers and church history. A lot of it is recorded in Latin. So what made the Basics of Latin course is there was lots of quotes and things that really spoke to my heart and to my mission. I'd like to share with you a quote from Martin Luther from his writings on the Psalms. When Martin Luther was in Wittenberg teaching, he would teach in Latin and have his notes recorded in Latin, and oftentimes they were using Latin scriptures to reflect on. And so this is a reflection Martin Luther is sharing from 1 Corinthians. It says, Salaman spiritu, salaman et mente, spiritu salare et spirituali devotine et effectu salare quod dicturor contra eos qui carne tantum salamut. I will sing psalms both with my spirit and with my mind. That's from 1 Corinthians. To sing psalms with the spirit means to sing psalms with both spiritual devotion and with affection, which is spoken against those who sing psalms only in the flesh. I love Martin Luther. He speaks from my heart as well. And so as I am learning more about the Bible and about church history, I can also do hard things like learn Latin. It makes me really excited and happy to share it with you. So what's the result? Do I now know Latin? No, I definitely don't know Latin at all, but I know that I have the tools and the skills to do hard things. And I know that if I continue with the courses that I've started, that I will be able to grow and grow in Latin. I think that's part of the fun of doing a challenge. I know that I can do this, which means I know that if I really apply myself, I can learn Latin and maybe even translate Latin. That would be awesome. But I would think it was a really fun experiment. And if you'd like to know more about my Latin experience, let me know in the comments and I'll make some more content for that. But in the meantime, I hope that this video was inspiring and helps you to try things that you think might be really hard, try to make it fun, try to share it with others. And I just hope that it is an encouragement for you.